I drew 1,000 faces. Well, hello there, I'm Détroit. You often see these videos popping up on YouTube, like, I'm bad at drawing hands, so I drew 100. This video is not like that. I'm not drawing 1,000 faces because I need practice. I do need practice, but I would never draw 1,000 just like that. No, the reason is of course because we passed the 1,000 subscribers milestone semi-recently. Actually, this was a while ago, but it went so fast I didn't have time to make the video earlier. Even at the time of writing this, the number on the YouTube app says 1,062, and the video won't come up for another 3 weeks, so who knows how many more of you are gonna join in the meantime. Are we gonna reach 1,100? 1,500? 5 million? Maybe not. In any case, I drew all thousands of you. I did it when we reached 100, I drew 100 faces. It made for a fun video, and now it's probably the last milestone I'll be able to do that. I really don't see myself draw 10,000 faces in the future, to be honest. This already took close to 5 hours across 4 days, and I don't want to spend a month drawing just random faces. But yeah, you get the gist of it. That's my concept, drawing all of you. When you see yourself, feel free to write the corresponding number in the comments. For simplicity and to not forget where I was, I wrote the number next to each face. This way you don't even have to count along. I don't think I've made any mistakes, so there should really be 1,000 in there. For this drawing, before I started, I couldn't really estimate the amount of paper I would need. I thought about doing an A4 piece of paper, but it would be too small. Maybe A3? But then again, I was not sure. I needed some kind of paper where I was sure I had one piece big enough, but I could stop at any moment. Like some sort of roll of paper I could roll like parchment. Wait a minute, I used paper like that years ago. I made, I think, 3 videos drawing on a scroll. Let's use that paper. I'm sure it won't give me trouble. I'm sure I won't reach the end of one scroll and have to tape another one to it, and another one, and add a normal piece of paper at the end. Turns out 1,000 faces takes a lot of room. I measured the length of the roll I used, and at the end of the video, the full 1,000 faces take 3 meters and 38 centimeters in length. In terms of area, that's 4.5 A4 pages. Oh, I forgot to tell you where the roll actually comes from. I've had it for years. It's a roll of printer paper for cashiers in stores. Before I started my PhD, I had a month where I didn't have any money and I still needed to eat and sleep somewhere. So to keep my apartment, I had to work as a cashier in a supermarket. When the ticket printer started to blink, it meant the paper roll was nearly finished and I should change it. Instead of the used roll ending in the trash, I kept it because there were still a few lengths left. I kept 3 in total. I wished I'd kept more, but now I used it all, so I don't think you'll see me draw on something like this anytime soon. By the way, the red lines you can see appear sometimes are also an indication of the roll reaching its end. I tried my best to keep the red line on the backside of the paper when I was stitching out the pieces together. Now for a more practical side, to keep the rolls tidy and not all over the place, I'm using a pen and a pencil inside the roll to keep them closed. The thing on the pen that allows you to put it in a pocket, it's very useful to stick on the roll. To ensure the paper remained relatively flat and pulled to the side, I used small magnets. I taped 5 small metal plates to my drawing pad, and the magnets are on top of the paper, keeping it in place. So yeah, these are the 5 small grey cylinders you can see. Magnets are really useful for that, for non-destructive sticking in place. I have a poster in my apartment that I put up with a dozen of these magnets to avoid piercing the wall or ruin the paint with tape or tacks. If you're wondering, I bought these magnets a few years ago. I think about 20 small magnets for a couple bucks. The pen I'm using is a cheap fountain pen with your run-of-the-mill black ink cartridge. I didn't want to use my good pen with my good ink for this, especially because the pen is very smooth and my usual good ink is very liquid and runs a lot. With cheap ink, the ink doesn't bleed as much and it's a bit easier to draw. Also, I spent 2 cartridges. Let's talk about the faces for a bit, shall we? About your faces, since I'm drawing you people. I have little artistic direction for what constitutes a face here. As long as it reads as a face, it's fine. So basically, I'm drawing a shape, adding eyes, a mouth, and that's a face. Often there's also a nose, and that's it. The shape of the head itself varies a lot. Even though 1000 is way too much for that, it is a good exercise. I think I learned how to draw expressive faces in only 3 strokes of the pen. The mouth especially is really easy to draw in this comic-y style. Sometimes you can add teeth to add a bit of spark to the design. Another fun thing to consider is the spacing between the eyes. Because a lot of the faces here are wide, blobby shapes, just 2 dots on either side give a dreamer-like vibe, a simple character who is happy, but doesn't think too much. You see what I mean? On the other hand, 2 circles linked together as glasses hide the eyes, and the character looks like they're thinking. What I really like here is drawing mouth on the side, like a bracket or a half circle to the side, and the face looks stunned and surprised. Angle the mouth a bit and the surprise is pleasant. Every face in this drawing is reinvented, even though they all kinda look the same. There's only a dozen or so original faces with features like hair or facial hair, hats and such. Most of the faces are similar. Let's be honest, drawing 1000 faces is a lot. I had to stop every 30 minutes or so because it's hard to draw things a bit different every time. I cheated a bit at points, like between numbers 500 and 550, where I drew the exact same face again and again. So there's 50 of you that are basically the same person. Or maybe one of you created 50 different YouTube accounts just to subscribe to my channel. I don't know, you do you. Sometimes I drew in series. In the first 100, for example, I drew faces with the shapes of the letters of the alphabet. The shapes are more or less close to the letters, but they're here, all 26 of them. I drew puzzle pieces at one point. I also drew a small series of a character with more and more eyes. What I like doing is I drew the same face bigger and bigger at one point. Drawing 1000 faces is also a statement of willpower. Honestly, I wanted to stop at so many points. On a notepad next to my desk, I drew a 10x10 grid, and whenever I stopped recording, I crossed out the number of faces I had drawn, times 10. Just looking at the grid being filled more and more every day really helped me to keep going. If you have more questions about the faces or the drawing as a whole, I'll let you ask them in the comments. Maybe I will answer, maybe I won't. You know, now that there's 1000 of you, I don't feel like being a nice guy anymore. I've played this role for the past 3 years, and now I'm stopping this whole charade. It was all a ploy to make you like me so you'd subscribe. And now that the nice guy Detroit era is over, I can do what I want. I declare the era of tyranny, starting today. I won't ask you to subscribe or to like the video. I am now demanding that you do that. You have to, or else I'll do something like, I'll kill 10 kittens. There you go, that's my first ultimatum. You're not happy with that? I don't care. What are you gonna do? Cry? I don't care about you, right? I'm bad like that. I care so little that once this video goes up, I won't even look at it again. In fact, as I'm writing this, 3 weeks before the scheduled upload, I'm gonna go on holidays next week. So I won't upload for a couple weeks after that. You would have thought that after 1000 subscribers I'll take this a bit more seriously. Well, no. First thing I'm doing is going on holidays. Actually, I'm going on a mission for work. I'm spending a week in Hong Kong to give a seminar there and also do some experiments with people over there. While it's nice, it means I have to prepare an hour-long presentation of my work right now in only a week. Because that's the thing, for my PhD funding, there's a collaboration with Hong Kong. I was supposed to work there for a bit during the 3 years in the lab, but with COVID and stuff I ended up staying in France the whole time. And now that my contract is getting to its end, my supervisors decided that it would be good to send me there, just to say, hey look, we really are collaborating, so don't take away the money you gave us to do that. Now, I love traveling. I've been lucky enough to travel the world and spend more than a year and a half abroad during my 26 years of life so far. And I'm still lucky in that regard, apparently. The Hong Kong trip was only planned less than a month ago, so it was a good surprise. On the other hand, I am a fervent supporter of the planet, and I really feel bad about traveling, especially with a plane. From an ecological standpoint, spending a week in Hong Kong just to say I'm doing it, and giving an hour-long presentation, doesn't justify the energetic cost and the toll it has on the planet. But at the same time, I want to be selfish and take the opportunity. In the end, I decided that this would be my last vacation abroad for a long while. After the week in Hong Kong, I'm taking another week to go to Thailand, so at least the flight across the world is not just for an excuse, but serving multiple purposes at the same time. I still feel bad, and I don't think it's okay to do that. It's hard to think about it. In physics research, the international collaborations are important. In any given domain, you can find a workshop or seminars or conference abroad every month. I've seen researchers fly across the world for a couple days every month. It's an aberration. There's nothing worse for the planet. A friend of mine calculated that turning off your computer and plugging it every night for 3 years, instead of sleep mode, saved the energy equivalent of a one-way plane trip from Paris to Berlin. So doing 3 years of small attentions and gestures and savings can be ruined by an hour-long plane trip. Now, imagine flying for 20 plus hours every month. There is simply no amount of small gestures you can do every day that can offset that. You can be vegan, not shower, not use electricity, and only bike around. It will take years to offset just a single plane from Paris to Hong Kong. This is why I feel bad about my upcoming vacations. They're gonna be great, of course, and I'm going to be enjoying it, but it doesn't feel good. I wanted to share to you that point of view. Some of you might not be as lucky as me regarding travels and holidays, but is that really something we as humans should aspire to? At 26, I already blew a lifetime's worth of energetical cost by traveling. This is why this will be my last large trip like that. Next vacations abroad I take, I will use trains, hitchhiking, etc. No more planes, and even then I will still feel bad about it probably. Anyway, this drawing video took a darker turn, sorry about that, but it's important for me to share. What am I saying? I'm supposed to be evil now that the age of tyranny has started. I'm not sorry, I do what I want. Like the video, and that's an order. I'll see you in a couple weeks, and until then I wish you the worst. See ya suckers, bye!